Hello, Laziali all over the world. Welcome to a special episode of Lazio Lounge. We are live. You can find us on Twitter, on YouTube as well, on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you prefer to talk about the Champions League draw. Finally, Alasdair McKenzie, we are in the Champions League draw. It was time.
Yeah, 13 years. Yeah, it's it's taken a bit of time to get here, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous about it, if I'm honest. Especially after losing 4-1 last night. You know, if you're going to get preparation for playing against the best teams in Europe all over again, probably not the best thing to do is lose 4-1 the night before. But yeah, I don't know. It's very exciting. You know, after so long of watching Europa League draws, I have to say it's got me going more than I expected it to.
Shall we start talking about also the match of yesterday then?
I suppose we're probably going to have to, yeah.
while we're waiting and waiting for the draw to start and see how things plan out. Alasdair, I had a little bit of discussion because I said that Lazio didn't play that bad yesterday. I said that, yes, Lazio lost, but Atalanta didn't dominate the match. Lazio had more chances, had more ball possession, but the chances to score, and Lazio.
Yeah, it was a really strange match. I don't think I've come across too many games like that, to be honest, where you come away having basically been absolutely hammered, but not really feeling like you've played all that badly. Atalanta were just completely clinical when they needed to be in a way that Lazio weren't, and it's not an excuse because it's not a way of saying, oh, we deserved another result. We didn't deserve another result, but at the same time, you do feel like Lazio shouldn't be so sloppy in defence. They shouldn't be so wasteful in attack, and Atalanta really kind of showed them how it's done in a way. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, and especially the biggest disappointment for me of all was after the 1-0. After Caicedo's goal, then Ciro had that chance, and I was just thinking, this is it. It's happening again. The 3-0 comeback to 3-3. It's happening all over again, and it's so annoying. You know, it was a matter of inches that he missed that by, and I feel like if he'd scored that, we may well have done it again. Who knows?
Alasdair, we have the first question already. We have Stefan Scarpulla that is saying, bring on the big boys. In Lotito we trust. Well, we don't trust that much Lotito, right? The transfer market wasn't what we were expecting. Today, Lazio announced Pereira, but not Andreas Pereira, the youngster, the goalkeeper that will go in the Primavera squad. So we are still waiting Fares, Pereira. So what's your thought about it?
Well, yeah, just keeping us on our toes by signing literally another player with exactly the same name on the same day we're expecting it. I don't know. I mean, the signing of the goalkeeper Pereira kind of took me by surprise. I mean, he's on loan, isn't he, with the option to buy? They've already said go into the Primavera team. So the Primavera goalkeeper has actually been doing. I'm completely blanking on his name, but now, but he's been doing quite well this season already. So. Be providing some competition. As soon as I saw he's coming from Monaco and he was a Portuguese speaker from Brazil, I thought, right, this has to be a Jorge Mendes move. But I've had a look and he doesn't seem to be a Mendes client, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
Yeah, there has to be a relationship there. The funny thing, Alasdair, is that Furlanetto, that is the goalkeeper of Lazio Primavera, have saved like 2 penalties already and has been, man of the match in 2 of the last 3 matches of Lazio. So I'm surprised. And do you know who is the second goalkeeper of Lazio Primavera?
Peruzzi.
Yes. So now, and do you know who is the striker, the first sub striker of Lazio Primavera?
Well, yeah, it's Tari. The thing is, I know Tari and Peruzzi are there, but I just don't know what their first names are. I've not learnt their first names yet.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Anyway, it's funny. It's funny. Stefan Scarpulla, guys, remember that you can ask us questions on our YouTube channel and on Twitter, and they will appear below and we will answer to them. Stefan Scarpulla, again, dream draw, nightmare draw. Alasdair, I don't know. It's so complicated. And yeah, there are a lot of teams, difficult team for Lazio. I don't know.
Have
What's
you
your?
have you have you thought up what your best and worst case draws are?
I was seeing that in the first phase, the most difficult team. I would love to have like Porto. Probably it's the easiest team. Zenit would be good, but it would be far away, so I'm not sure it's the perfect option for us.
Yeah, well, I'll read you mine. I had a look at it earlier. I put a little bit of thought into it, not an awful lot, I have to admit. But I think the worst case scenario for me is to have a combination of Bayern, uh, Manchester City, and Marseille, because Bayern are just incredible, even though they got hammered by Hoffenheim on the weekend. Originally, I put Liverpool, but then I realised actually Manchester City are the team I fear most in the second pot, so that's why I changed it. But if we have those two teams, it's going to be really difficult. Because what I'm worried about more than anything is the way that Lazio defend and our capability of standing up to the best attacks in Europe. So I'm not so worried about coming across, more defensive-minded sides, perhaps. Yeah, I was originally thinking Atletico Madrid, and then I thought, oh God, Joao Felix and Luis Suarez running at Stefan Radu is pretty terrifying as well. So, and Marseille, I think we just had they had fans had a terrible time when they went there in Europa League a couple of years ago, and I don't think they want to repeat that. So that's why I put Marseille in. But yeah, I don't know. How about you?
Well, it's being a third. It's not easy. There are a lot of very good teams in the first phase. Bayern, Monaco, Sevilla, Real Madrid, and so on. Even in the second, there's Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, City. Maybe United would be interesting to have. The dream would be like Porto and Shakhtar Donetsk, or maybe Ajax as well. I know Ajax is not that bad, but still probably would make. I would prefer Ajax than Manchester United or Bayern Munich, I think.
Yeah, I put Porto down as in my best case scenario. I put Porto in because also, I mean, it'd be a great trip if fans were allowed to go as well. But also, there's the Sergio Conceição link, which is quite nice. He's still there, I assume. I hope. If he's not, then that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's still there.
Likewise, Chelsea. I wouldn't mind Chelsea just because there's a kind of link between the clubs, and also I've got some friends who are Chelsea fans as well, and I just quite like that. It's a really, again, I've been to Stamford Bridge once before, and it's a nice day out. So I think Ferencvaros. I think that I don't know how you pronounce it, but I think that they're the weakest team in the competition by the looks of things. I don't know anything about them really, but they are in terms of coefficient. The lowest ranked side, and I think this might be their first ever Champions League season. So, yeah, there are, to be honest, the fourth pot is weaker than I expected it to be. It's not as scary as I thought that it might be, to be honest.
Good. FTS Mods is asking, it would be nice if Manchester United and Real Madrid grouped up. I don't know if he's saying with Lazio or without, but
yeah, it wouldn't be so nice with Lazio.
No, it would be quite complicated. Carl, irrespective of the Mercato, how bad do you think not having a public will affect us? Well, one thing I said yesterday is that with the fans in the stadium, Lazio was unbeaten at home since the fans couldn't come in the Stadio Olimpico. Lazio have lost a lot of matches at home. So I think it makes a big difference for Lazio. I know Buffon said once that he never saw a fan scoring a goal, but I still think that playing at home with a lot of fun, especially the Lazio fans that are quite influenced, I think it's a big difference.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think it is a level playing field in that regard, as in all the teams are having to deal with the same problem of not having their fans involved, but it does just add another layer to these kind of games. Last night at halftime of the Atalanta game, I did say on Twitter that although we did this last season, came back from 3-0 behind at halftime to draw, and although Lazio had actually played a lot better in the first half last night than they had in that game, I still felt it was very unlikely to see that happen, because for something like that to happen, I almost feel like you need the fans to be there to give you that second win, to give that momentum. Because I was at that game last season, the 3-3 comeback game, and you felt it. You felt that there was that momentum brewing, and there's a certain point at which everyone just kind of believed and got behind the team, and that really spurred them on. So I think it does make a big difference, and it's massive shame that, having waited for so long to get back in the Champions League, we're not going to be allowed in the stadium to go and watch them and hear the anthem and see some of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, one of our questions we receive on YouTube. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go. It's free completely. So fans will be allowed in the group stage. Alasdair, I hope so, because the first match is going to be the 21st of October. So there's plenty of time. But the situation, I mean, in countries like England and Spain is not amazing. So I don't know if from the beginning of the competition it will be available. I hope so, because, it's 13 years we're waiting to see Lazio playing the Champions League. So it would be good to have this chance and see Lazio playing live around Europe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I would be amazed if they allow it to happen, looking at the spread of the pandemic, the outbreaks that are happening in the UK right now, in Spain, in various different countries. It's not, a cross-continental football tournament isn't going to be high on the priority list of governments, really, I don't think, in terms of getting fans back in stadiums. In Italy, obviously, we've managed to have 1,000 fans in games, which is something they've considered and talked about the idea of extending that, but they don't feel ready for it yet. I don't feel very positive, very optimistic about that happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be difficult, especially because some countries are struggling more than others. So I don't see it possible. Arvid, I read that there will be an announcement on Monday about fans in the arena. Don't know if he's talking about Europe or Serie A or Italy. Alasdair, what do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, they're going to have to make an announcement one way or another soon, so I wouldn't be surprised if it would be on Monday, given that the draw, obviously Champions League draw is today, the Europa League draw is tomorrow. So one way or another, UEFA are going to have to decide what to do, because these group stage matches, like you said, are starting in 3 weeks. I think it's the 20th, 21st, where the first Champions League games will be. So, I mean, it's really soon. It's really soon now. So, once the international break is over, we'll almost be there. So, it's very exciting, but quite scary, though.
Alasdair, we have to talk about the big news of yesterday. I mean, we talk about the match, but the biggest transfer news of yesterday is our friend Wallace.
I know.
It's unbelievable. They did it. I don't know if you saw it on social. They did a nice video about him. They presented him like a real great player. I think he's happy about that, right? Did you see it?
Well, look, I like Wallace. I think Wallace seems like a really nice guy, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's a great footballer, but I do genuinely wish him all the best, and I'm happy he's been able to find a club where he might be able to play a part, because there was no point in him sticking around for much longer when the club had decided to get rid of him. And yeah, look, he did have his moments. I mean, we'll never forget the moment he completely outplayed Cristiano Ronaldo in Turin just after he'd arrived in Italy. He popped up with the odd good performance. Obviously, the mistakes he made over the years have kind of tempered people's opinions of him as a player. But he did have his moments, and he was there for a lot of memorable Lazio moments as well, winning trophies, winning Supercoppa, winning various big games. So yeah, I mean, all the best to Wallace, but it's not a great surprise that he's been moved on.
More than a big surprise, it's a surprise that we were able to sell him finally, because we sent him on loan last year and it didn't work out. So finally, we still have Durmisi, etc., Di Gennaro. So finally, get rid of a player. It's not a loan; it's a permanent deal. So that's a big news for me. On the other side, Alasdair, we talked about last week that players like King, Bastos, Javan Anderson were out of the squad. And then what happened yesterday against Atalanta? Who comes in? Bastos, Javan Anderson, King, no. But, what's going on? Did Inzaghi change his mind, or do you think that it was chat?
Well, there just aren't enough options, are there? I mean, that's the thing he keeps coming back to all the time. Whenever he's asked about how the summer's gone, whenever he's asked about the Mercato, whenever he's asked about what team he's going to pick on the weekend, Inzaghi's coming back to the fact that he doesn't feel like his team is ready, that he keeps saying that they're late. And you can see where he's coming from, because he basically suggested that nothing's going to quite be ready until after the international break, in terms of having the squad he needs, with Fares, with Muriqi, with Wesley Hoet. Actually, the summer signings are going to add a bit of fresh impetus, a bit of fresh energy to this team. He's not been able to call on any of them yet. So the fact that you get the likes of Bastos and Javan Anderson in matchday squads right now is also down to the fact that we've still got another 4 or 5 players yet to come into the squad who are going to inevitably knock them out. And defensively, we just don't have any players as well. So
I know, Alasdair. Yellow 19, would you love to see Ciro back at Dortmund against Lewandowski?
Lewandowski doesn't play for Dortmund.
Well, better Dortmund than Bayern Munich, right? I think we can agree on that. But yeah, it would be nice to have Ciro going back to Dortmund and prove everybody wrong. Even though Ciro never spoke badly about that period. He said he was unlucky because Borussia was coming after a couple of years where they won everything. There have been some changes, some problems, and obviously when problems arrive, Klopp went back to his favorite team. So, I think it was an experience for Ciro.
Yeah, I mean, but on that note, it would be quite interesting because it's the first time in the Champions League for a lot of these players, or at least the first time in ages for a lot of them as well. So, for example, it'd be quite interesting playing Liverpool, where we've got Lucas Leiva there, we've got Pepe Reina in the team, we've got Luis Alberto. There's quite a lot of links between the two clubs that have emerged just from the playing squad we've put together. I don't know. I don't buy into the whole kind of revenge against your former club too much. There are certain exceptions to that rule, I suppose. But yeah, in our squad, I don't think. It'd be nice, sure, because to kind of move on to slightly different subject, I think with Ciro, it'd just be nice to shut up a lot of the people who criticise him all the time, because he gets criticised completely nonsensically. People still bringing up, 1 year at Dortmund as a reason to doubt the player he is now, despite that having been 5 years ago. And if he is able to play at his best in the Champions League, there's going to be very few arguments left for the Ciro haters. Not that there are many left already, given that he's the European Golden Boot winner, but you know what I mean.
Well, people say that he won because of the penalty. So, I think, unfortunately, like every Lazio, he has to prove it every single time, right? I heard even about Milinkovic Savic or Luis Alberto. Unfortunately, when you're a Lazio player, you have to prove it every single season. And it's even positive because they have to play at the best every single year. So let's see the positive side for once. We have another question on our YouTube channel. Dortmund are the team that worries me the most. They are the type of team like Atalanta. I prefer a giant, nothing to lose, and bigger motivation. Yeah, this is an interesting point of view, Alasdair. I personally agree.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is I'd like one, but not two. Because it'd be great. I mean, you want to be in the Champions League testing yourself against the biggest teams, but at the same time, if you come out with Bayern Munich and Barcelona in the same group, then it's going to be really, really tough to actually do anything in the competition. So that's kind of how I feel about it. It'd be nice to have a big team who we feel like we might actually be able to beat, and then a medium team to make it interesting.
Yeah, so that we can, be the big team and then qualify to the Champions League, maybe second or something like that. So, it was to participate and to win that match. I presume that's what you're talking about. Still not started the draw, by the way. They're still chatting.
They take forever, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a long afternoon. Oh, we have a Liverpool fan. If you like to draw Lazio, you have really interesting history, and Lucas is a coach here.
Hey. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was just saying that it would be nice to get Liverpool. I don't know how nice it would be for us, because if Salah, Firmino, and Mane run up against Bastos, Vavro, and Patrick, then we might be in a bit of trouble, if I'm honest. But no, that would be quite a nice draw. I mean, just because of the storylines, it's and you, as well as the ex-Liverpool players I mentioned. You already mentioned Klopp and Immobile, so there's another kind of reunion as well. There's going to be quite a few of them. It'd just be great. Anfield would be one of those great grounds to visit as well. And I guess, we've just talked about that, so we don't need to do it again. But there's just so many good potential away trips. It's such a shame that it's probably not going to happen for us.
You forget Bobby. I don't know why. Why do you forget Bobby Lecagna? And why you're going for Bastos? He's leaving. So he's not.
I will believe it when I see it. Okay, I'm not giving up on Bastos until there's a picture of him with another club shirt on and a contract, and I'll hire a lawyer to look over it to make sure it's a real contract. I'm not letting that man go.
But by the way, I was surprised that yesterday he came in. It looks like Rado is hurt. There's a big chance he will miss Inter, just because we have so many defenders that we can miss a couple. We have no idea what Vavro is happening with Vavro, because he's injured again and he hardly played. But he's able to. I think he got more injury last season that match he played for Lazio, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Radu can't be relied upon, I don't think, this season with all these games piling up, and he's a year older, and he's never been able to play multiple games in the course of a week anyway. So, that's one of the main reasons that they've decided to get Wesley Hood in. Not that that's necessarily going to fill us with confidence that we're going to keep a clean sheet in the Champions League.
By the way, what's happening with Wesley Hood? Because it's here, it's in Rome, but no announcement, no medicals. I'm a little bit scared that something happened. By the way, by Bianco Celesti broadcast, give us Manchester. It would be fun to beat them in play for the second time. A motive Andre Pereira against former club. Yeah, let's not forget that we are the only team unbeaten against Manchester United, Alasdair. We won the Supercoppa.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that was actually one of the games that I ended up re-watching during during lockdown, when I was starved of live football. I mean, look, there's a lot of interesting potential opponents. I think Man United would be a good one, because huge club, massive European pedigree, but at the same time, I would feel like they are actually beatable in a way that I wouldn't necessarily so much about Liverpool or City. They lost to Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago. So another eagle flying team managed to get a result against them. Why can't we?
No, absolutely. Manchester United, it was a great team, I would say. Now it's not anymore. And so it would be good. Ryan, another Liverpool fan. No, it's the same as before. Luis Alberto doing so well this day too. Yeah, Luis Alberto has been astonishing with a great performance. He's one of the leaders of this team, so we're very happy to sign him. And what a deal, 5 million euros. So it was one of the best moves of Iglitari, I would say. Signing Luis Stefan Scarpulla is saying, thinking Kambula is watching the Europe League draw. Well, obviously he's not watching the Champions League, as he decided to go to the other team. It was funny, Alasdair, because I think today they presented him and he said, well, when Roma made an offer, I couldn't reject it. Man, I mean, Inter made you an offer and you're saying me that you said no to Inter but yes to Roma. Come on.
Yeah, well, he has to say that, doesn't he? I mean, it's he's kind of made his bed now, so he's going to have to lie in it one way or another. But yeah, maybe he feels like if he signs for a Europa League team, he can ease his way into European football instead of jumping straight into the deep end of the Champions League.
Yep, plenty of questions, Alasdair. Plenty of questions. Do you think Champions League will increase Lazio players' prices, where we might lose stars like Luis Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic next year? Well, definitely. Obviously, one of the things very important is playing the Champions League. Is an alarm just went on here. It's Rome. You have to get used to it. Yeah, playing the Champions League, it's a great chance for all the players. They can be seen easier than the Europe League. So obviously, if Luis Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic play better, then hopefully bigger offer will come, and maybe we're gonna sell it for an amazing price. But maybe even Lazzari. Don't think only Luis Alberto. Think of other players like Luis Felipe or Acerbi as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this is the kind of worry with this is more about Milinkovic-Savic, because he is the most sellable asset in this team, and given that his last couple of seasons, last season he was very good, but the season before was quite poor. And, now the valuation that a lot of clubs previously put on him is being kind of smirked at a bit. If he can prove that he is that player and that he can play at a high level in the Champions League, that's going to add a hell of a lot onto his valuation. So that's, in a way, for players like this, they don't need any more motivation than just playing on the top level itself. But for Lazio, yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to make things interesting in terms of if they are willing to sell players next summer, whether it'll give them extra gambling power, I suppose.
I still have the alarm here. Someone must have broken in a car. Stefan Scarpulla is asking, I lived in Prati many years ago. What neighbors are you in, lad? I'm in Balduina. I don't know if you know. While Alasdair is directly in the Vatican. He's sharing his house with the Pope right now.
Yeah, not far from Prati. I'm in the Cipro neighborhood. Yeah, so both of us are pretty close to the Stadio. The right side of the river at least.
Yeah, I passed by already 3 times today. So and my son was saying, when are we gonna be able to go and watch a Lazio match live from the stadium? We don't know. Unfortunately, we don't know. We have no idea. Alasdair, we have a question. Alessandro Rossini, what kind of group do you think Lazio will get away with?
I'm not sure what he means, whether that means what kind of group we're going to get or what kind of group we can hope to qualify from. Assuming it's the second one. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few mix-ups of teams you can get here that Lazio fancy their chances in, because, like I said, pot 4 isn't all that intimidating. Any of the teams really. I think Gladbach are probably the trickiest team in the 4th pot, and then beyond that, there always tends to be one kind of easier group in the Champions League draw. It seems to every year have like Zenit and Porto will be in the same group with a couple of other teams. So there is usually every year one kind of softer group, and yeah, so it does happen. And like for example, this year we can end up. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, Porto or Zenit as the pot one team, and then if you get Shakhtar or Ajax in the pot two, all the other teams are pretty scary, I will say. But if there's some combination of those four teams, then it's difficult. Don't get me wrong; it's always going to be difficult, but it would be possible.
No, well, it's Champions League, so it's always going to be difficult, right? This team deserves to be there, or at least most of them. So, yeah, it's going to be complicated to play this team. Would you deem third place still a success and playing Europa League knockout football? It depends on the group, I would say, Alasdair. I mean, Yellow 19. It depends. If we find a tough group, then obviously third would be a great place. But I don't agree with a lot of Lazio fans that say, okay, we go in the group, we get out in the group, and then we fight for the Europa League. We are in the Champions League finally. Let's try and do our best and see if we are able to go through. Obviously, it depends a lot on the group we find, but I think Lazio have the chances to make it, depending on which team we will pick up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think as a pot three team, you can't say that third place is a success. You can only say third place is a success if you're a pot four team, to look at it very logically. I mean, I think it's almost the worst case scenario, to be honest, because it will add an extra knockout game. You drop into the last 32 in the Europa League, not the last 16, and I think Lazio will be prioritising the Champions League and giving it absolutely everything they've got. So I don't think that there's any possibility of looking at third place as being a success. I don't, it's not the end of the world. You obviously stay in Europe beyond Christmas, and that's good, and there's knockout football to play for still after that. But I don't think we'd be able to say it was a success. I can't hear you. I think you've not muted you. Unmuted
Sorry.
yourself.
I muted myself. I was saying that this year, Serie A, it's very complicated. There is Juventus, Inter that has improved. Atalanta, we saw it. Napoli is coming back. So it's going to be really tough to compete for the high level in Serie A. So maybe Lazio could focus on the Champions League, try to pass the group, and then see how things go and go take it from there. But I think, yes, Lazio could focus on the Champions League because Serie A this year is going to be very, very complicated. And so the further you go on the Champions League, more money you make, more signing you can do next year. So, yeah, that's what I think about it. Joy Charming, will Champions League games show where Strakosha stands? A flop or a top? I don't understand why Lazio fans so much Strakosha. Again, some people yesterday wrote me saying we lost because of Strakosha. I cannot believe. I don't know what Strakosha did wrong yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, there is no doubt though that it adds another level of difficulty to his game. It's a level that he's not been tested at yet, and I guess the issue most people have with him is that the flaws in his game haven't got any better now for about 2 or 3 years. He remains an excellent shot stopper, very agile, but then his kicking is still a big weakness that gets Lazio in trouble, and he's quite indecisive when it comes to crosses and collecting long balls. That's still not gone away. So by this stage of his career, you would have hoped to maybe see that improvements on the weaknesses. His strengths are very strong, it should be said, but whether that'll be enough or not in the Champions League, we'll have to find out. I don't know. One thing I would say is that the kicking, the distribution side of things is going to be an issue if he can't sort that out or play it safer or find a way of not being exposed with that, because if you think about the teams playing at that level, the pressing game, a lot of them use is absolutely ferocious, and they just won't let you get away with mistakes. I was watching the Benevento Inter game yesterday, for example, and both keepers made one mistake with a pass, and there were goals. Handanovic and Zoet, I think it was. Oh no, that's the Spezia keeper. I've forgotten who the Benevento keeper is. Anyway, the point is, one mistake can easily be enough, and I think the teams we're playing against will be aware of that being a weakness of Strakosha's, and they'll probably chase after it.
We're gonna see. I don't think he's that bad. I think he improved. I think he's a very young and very good goalkeeper. Let's not forget Andanovic is considered, rightly so, the best goalkeeper in Serie A, and he made terrible mistakes. So things can happen on goalkeepers. Obviously, if a goalkeeper make a mistake, it's more easy to spot and make a difference. While if a striker make a mistake, then it's completely different. It still can score and make the team win it. Still nothing. We're still waiting for
still no sign of any balls being opened here.
Oh, I don't know what they're doing. They're having fun. Stefan Scarpulla again. How would you rate moral in the club at the moment versus pre-COVID for fans? And I cannot read the rest of the question, Stefan. I think obviously pre-COVID, Lazio was on fire. The moral was amazing, and I think the players were convinced they had a real shot on winning the Scudetto. After that, things didn't go as expected. So I think that there's still the confidence, though. Even though they lost badly against Atalanta, I think still the team is confident. Probably the Champions League match will make a big impact, because I think, Alasdair, that Atalanta, for example, is a different team after their experience in Champions League. They are more confident. They trust more the talent after what they did in Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, speaking about the morale and versus pre-COVID, yeah, I think it's completely different. If you're talking about the morale of the fans, that is, I mean, there's been a lot of complaining. Whether that's right or wrong is another discussion. But look, there's been ultras leaving banners up criticizing Lotito for the mercato. There's been a lot of complaints about how long it's taken to get players in, about the squad not being deep enough, and blah blah blah. Inzaghi's been complaining about things. Of course, compared to pre-COVID, it's not good. That's why I feel like we need an opportunity to really press the reset button and start again, because I almost feel like we've just rolled from the bad end to last season straight into this one, and that the motivation hasn't been changed. There hasn't been this kind of new lease of energy and life saying, okay, new season, let's go, fresh energy, fresh enthusiasm, new objectives. I don't feel like they've really reached that point this season where they've done that, because we're using the same players, talking about the same things. I feel like when that point's going to come is probably after the international break, once the new players are in, and then hopefully that will bring the results and bring the momentum that we need to get that enthusiasm back.
Yeah, I agree, and it would be good to take a point at least against Inter after what happened against Atalanta, even though there are question marks because Luis Felipe is going to be out, Vabro probably is going to be out, there is no Ramos. So Obasso is going to play, but he's going to close before, so who knows if he's still going to be there, or otherwise maybe Armini is going to make his first start in Serie A. Is it possible, Joe Chami asking, is it possible Lulic doesn't not play in the Champions League after all these years trying to get us there? Well, there is a big chance, because he should be back in Rome in October, in the next days, but we don't know if he's able to play or just to start training again. I mean, it will take time. So you lose one player in the list. I don't know if maybe it's too much a gamble if you don't know when he's going to be able to play at the moment. Right, Alasdair?
It would be such a shame. like he says, after all these years of getting so close, let's not forget the pain we've been through to get to this point. Whether it was the collapse against Inter on the final day, or not making it on goal difference behind Udinese, or found every which way of not qualifying for the Champions League in the last few years. So I'd want Lulic there. I'd expect that if there's even a chance of him being fit, he'll be in the squad anyway, because he's the captain, because he brings things off the pitch as well as on it. So I still have to believe that we'll see Lulic in the Champions League.
In the meantime, Sky the goals Lazio scored last year in the Europe League. It wasn't a great competition,
All
but
two of them.
they showed the Bastos goal, so you should have been happy.
Yes.
About that. Still 30, and still the draw hasn't started. If you could play Alasdair, one last player, who would you choose?
Is this within the realistic confines of a Lazio transfer market, or is this literally any player?
No, I think any player. Messi.
Messi wants to leave Barcelona, so
yeah, but then he has to go on the bench because Luis Alberto will start, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, God, that's a difficult question. I would almost be tempted to go for a centre back, but then I don't know who I'd pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Bring in Virgil van Dijk. He'll sort things out.
Yeah, a good central defender. I would go for Romagnoli if there was an option. He's a Lazio fan. He would love to go back to Rome and play for Lazio. So that could be a good option. I think Milan will sell him for a lot of money. So it's quite difficult, but right, we would love to have Romagnoli back. He's a big Lazio fan. Still nothing here, Alice. They're still talking, and I don't know.
Plenty of shots of Paolo Condo waving his arms around, and that's about it.
Yeah. The COVID at the worst possible time. Unfortunately, we know it. We have to say Lazio was very unlucky. We have to say that last year probably without that, who knows? Maybe we would have won the Scudetto. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, after the Inter game, I started to believe that it was possible. Yeah, they just had that amazing momentum where it just looked like they just completely forgotten how not to win games, and almost by just stepping out on the pitch, they would always find a way. It's just such a confidence team. That's the thing. We've really seen that from what's happened ever since then, is that they need that confidence, that self-belief, self-esteem in order to be at their best. And as soon as the atmosphere is down a bit, as it is at the moment, the performances don't really stand up. So, yeah, that's why I really think we need that enthusiasm back. We need to start winning games and get some new players in to give them that kind of fresh impetus, like I keep saying.
Yeah. I was asking again, will fans be allowed in for the group stage? It's going to be very difficult, as we said before. There's a chance, but because the match would be the 21st of October, so there are 20 on some region it would be possible. I don't see it happening, for example, in England at the moment. So, because they're finally starting, as there.
Here we go. Right.
Let's see.
I hope so, anyway.
Yeah, well, they went back to Kosovo. I saw the pot, though. So the balls are there. They just have to pick.
Yeah, it always fascinates me how they manage to fill so much time when nobody cares. Everyone is here for one thing, which is to watch games come out of balls. Yeah, he's Drogba.
Manchester. No, Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. Oh no, it's gone. Sorry, it's not. I thought I'd seen that they had Drogba on, but obviously not. Right.
Bayern
Well,
Munich.
this bit's a bit boring anyway, isn't it? Because they just bring out all the pot one teams in a row, so there's not much to do.
Joe Chami, if you can choose one Lazio player that played the Champions League with us, who would you choose to compete this team? Nesta, Salas, Nedved? I think Nesta, as we need a defender.
Yes.
I would definitely go with Nesta.
There's nothing I would love more. There's nothing I'd love more than having Alessandro Nesta back in this team.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. He would sort things out so much, and he's left-footed as well, so you can even play him on the left.
He never played
imagine
in
upgrading bad Bastos for Alessandro Nesta.
He never played in a three-man defense, I think. But yeah, it would be good that Armini would play as Nesta. Who knows? Maybe he's the new Nesta. In which group did Porto finish? It's where I want to go.
We don't have Porto yet. We've got A, Bayern Munich, B, Real Madrid, and now C. Oh no, Porto. C, Porto, and now
and then
Liverpool.
D, Liverpool. I think you are far behind me. I thought you were ahead.
No, I was just reading the yellow ticker on Sky,
Okay.
and it was taking a while to come up.
Yeah. So we have to Group C for us. Has to be, right?
Yeah, well, Sevilla have just come out as well. Sevilla is not as scary a prospect as some of these other teams are. I mean, they're a good team. Look, Sevilla are a really, really accomplished team, and they have a very good track record in Europe. So, like I was saying earlier, there's none of these are easy, but it's slightly easier than Liverpool or Real Madrid, probably.
Well, Zenit came out. By the way, Stephen Moore is asking, hope all is well, hoping Lazio get draw with some top teams, Real, Barca, City, etc. One, not more than one, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we have no chance. So no. One is enough, I would say.
Yeah, that's definitely my take on it. Is if we get one, one's enough. One's more than happy. We don't want to be like the poor guys from I think it was Slavia Prague last year, who I don't know if you remember that when the camera zoomed in on them after they'd been drawn with Barcelona, Dortmund, and Inter, and they just burst out laughing at the situation they find themselves in. Thankfully, being in pot 3 means we should avoid anything quite that bad. But right, I think they're all done now, are they?
Yeah. I think the first
Group H is PSG.
Yeah. Michael would love to have back Nedved. Well, he was a great player, but
I will take Nedved too.
Well, I think of that team, I would take anybody, absolutely anybody. Will Immobile break Inzaghi Champions League record? I think it's very complicated. Scoring 5 goals in a single match, it's pretty much impossible. And I was at the stadium, so that day.
Tell us, reminisce.
I was in Tribuna Tevere. I don't know why. I was with my dad. I didn't go to Curva Nord, and probably that's the reason why he scored 5 goals. Because I went to Tribuna Tevere, and he missed the penalty. Let's not forget, Lazio went down 1-0, and we missed a penalty, and then Inzaghi scored 5. And then Alen Boksic, what a player.
It's incredible. Who's that against you? Was that Marseille, was it?
Olympique Marseille, yep.
Yeah.
So,
well, Marseille are in pot 4, so you never know. 6-0 in. 5 from
so Bayern Group A, Real Madrid Group B.
Yep.
Wait, I'll open a...
Porto C.
Porto is a good one.
Liverpool D.
Sevilla E, Zenit F, Juventus Paris H. So I think C and E and F are the best at the moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that we can't get drawn with other Italian teams, can we? So that rules out Juventus.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I mean, it's, I don't mind taking a top team like a PSG. I wouldn't mind having a go at PSG, but it's hard to say because you don't want one of them and then also City or Barcelona or United or Atletico. The pot two, because of the way they do this draw, in case people are unaware of this, it's changed so that the pot one is now all the national champions of the top leagues, plus the Europa League winners and the defending champions, which means that pot two now is just full of amazing teams because that's when it starts to be ranked by coefficient. So pot two is terrifying.
But there is Shakhtar Donetsk, who, I mean, it's not an amazing team. Ajax did very well in the past. You never know if this year they'll repeat themselves. So those are the weakest team, I would say. Manchester United as well. It's a good team, but I don't think it's that good anymore. We have a Celtic fan here. Lazio is my second team since the days of Italia. Hope if we lose Edward next summer, he goes. He would make a good addition to Lazio. I don't remember rumors about that, Alasdair, but
yeah, there were a while ago, but Edward's one of these players who's been linked with, I think, every club in Europe by now. So I don't know how much truth there is to it. I can't really see that happening now that Mariki's come in, obviously. But yeah. But yeah, thank you, Michael. Good to have more Scots involved. I'm assuming he's Scottish if he's a Celtic fan.
Oh God, yeah. Wow, you never know. Why? It could be Portuguese, Celtic is
more the name than anything.
Yeah, that's right.
This is amazing, by the way. This is incredible that they've managed to take 8 names out of 8 plastic balls, and now they're having to wait another half an hour, presumably, to get onto the next 8 balls. This is we're getting a montage of all the teams in pot 2 currently. We know who they are. We don't need to see this.
It's challenging to pick up 8 names. It's not that easy.
And Andreas Pereira has just come up on my screen, by the way, celebrating a goal with United.
He still hasn't been announced by Lazio.
He's on the plane. He's on the plane. They can't announce it while he's at 30,000 feet, Vittorio. It's not safe.
Sorry. What about Fares? Where is he?
Yeah.
Free Fares. Let's start ask free Fares. Hood, because we said that Lazio need a defender. What's going on with Hood? Why he hasn't been announced?
Bastos might have convinced Inzaghi. You never know. Maybe their eyes met one day over the training ground, and Inzaghi said, "You know what? I see what you've got, and you're ready for this. You're ready for the Champions League."
Yep, can see it happening. Come on, let's go.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, we should have known better than to start the podcast this far ahead of the actual time when it was due to start.
Last time it was that long. I remember the past it was much shorter. I don't know what.
I'm hungry. I want something to eat now. I feel like I've been wasting away for 3 hours here without any sustenance even.
Actually, I brought a bottle of water because too much.
I saw somebody, one of the questions, I know, sorry, your question, Master, but I think we missed it earlier, about the prize money. And so I've actually got it up to have a quick look. I mean, this is as of last year, so I don't know if it'll have been altered for this year, but the base fee to just getting to reach the group stage is 15.25 million euros. Then every group match win, you get another 2.7 million. A draw, you get 900,000. And then if you reach the round of 16, you get another 9.5 million euros. Then 10.5 for quarters, 12 for semis, 15 for runners-up, 19 for champions. So there's a lot of money involved in this competition, especially compared to the Europa League.
yes, that's why we were all hoping that Lazio reach the Champions League, because it's a lot of money. Just entering the group stage, Lazio will make more money than when they pass the group phase of the Europe League. So important, because then you can start signing big players instead of sort of that type of players. Still nothing, Alasdair.
Nice.
They're still shocking about, I don't know, Manchester United. Yeah, okay, we know it.
I'm trying to explain who Manchester United are now.
Yeah, really, who knows? Shakhtar Donetsk.
I wonder if it's because the guys who work at UEFA, they only get this once a year, so they want to make sure they maximize their screen time as much as possible. Oh, there's a question I like that's just come in.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
Peer pressure. We have to pile on and make sure this happens.
I think Bassos will ever have a chance of get close to that. But, if we win that match, then maybe.
Okay, for anyone who listens to the audio version of this, Thomas Scarlett has asked, will Vittorio shave his head if Bastos scores in the Champions League? And Vittorio's said yes. So we're going to hold you to that, Vittorio. I'll do it myself, actually.
Yeah, you can do a video about
it. A special podcast of me shaving your head.
Finally. Club Atletico.
Oh, we're up and running. Here we go. So.
Madrid pay.
They go into B because
they're
not allowed in A. I think they have to go into B because they're not allowed in A. Hang on.
Can't go in the E, so they have to choose groups.
Oh no, sorry. I'm
they
already
have to pick the group now. You're not used to A. Bayern, Atletico Madrid. So we should avoid that group. I would.
Yeah, that's quite a nasty one.
Bayern
and Atletico. Although a Simeone reunion, do you not like that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, and Immobile scoring to Lewandowski. Chelsea can go with C, E, F, J, H. So pretty much everyone. Except
all apart from Liverpool. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wow!
Okay, they're picking.
It's scary actually when you see these teams starting to come out.
E with
Sevilla.
They lost last, right?
Sorry, you cut out there. I didn't hear that.
Did they lose in Premier League? Did Chelsea lose the last match in Premier League? Yep.
Yeah, who were they playing again?
Oh
no, it was 3-3 with West Brom, wasn't it? They were 3-0 down. They did a Lazio and came back from 3-0 down to draw 3-3. But against West Brom. Oh dear.
Barcelona.
Right, they're going to end up with Liverpool, aren't they?
Juventus, Barcelona.
Okay. G. So we can't have Barcelona. We're safe from Barcelona. No Messi.
I said that Juventus was picking in Barcelona. So at the moment,
it's the first thing we know, at least.
Yep. No Lazio Barcelona. Ajax. Ajax can go in every group. If you go in the F, then I would love to go there.
Yeah, Ajax are a good mixture because they are a nice big European household name, very historic club, but I also feel like we might be able to beat them. So it's a good combination.
Yeah, they sold a lot of players.
Yeah, with Liverpool.
Okay.
Okay. So that's kind of like what I was saying before about one big team and one beatable team. I quite like the look of that group, Liverpool and Ajax.
Shakhtar Donetsk can go on Group F, so it's B, C, and H. Why only 2 pots? Why only 2 balls? I missed something.
For which team? Shakhtar?
Shakhtar. I thought they go B, Real Madrid. Don't ask me why.
I think they're not allowed to play Zenit because Zenit are Russian side and they're keeping Ukrainian and Russian teams apart. No?
Yeah, but Paris, I know, is not Russian.
Right. Yeah, but then that. Oh yeah,
I lived there.
I don't understand. you can say with 100% certainty that Paris is not Russian. It's a big call you're making today, Vittorio.
Yeah, I was living there and they didn't speak Russian. So, I missed the
Real Madrid and Shakhtar. So that's another kind of big and not so big combo. That's okay.
F. Who was in the F? Zenit and Borussia Dortmund.
Zenit Dortmund. That's a decent. Yeah. That's a not so bad group. So who's left? We have Man United and Man City left. Man United. So there's going to be one scary group here with Paris Saint-Germain and one of the United or City.
Yeah, United going there. Or against Porto. Against Porto would be...
So that United and Porto?
No, still not official. Men.
United. Oh, they were in group last year, really. I feel like they always play each other.
Porto and Manchester City.
So Porto and City, right? Okay. Yeah. Do you want to read them all out then?
Group A, Bayer Atletico. Group B, Real Madrid Shakhtar Donetsk. Group C, Porto Manchester City. Group D, Liverpool Ajax. Group E, Sevilla Chelsea. Group F, Zenit. Group G, Group H, Paris Man United.
So there's two for me. There's two groups of death there, which is Group H and Group A. Those are the two really, really scary-looking ones: Bayern and Atletico, or PSG and United.
Because we cannot go in the G1, right? So those are the most scary. Even though Man United is not that scary. I mean, if I have to pick between A and H, I would go H all the time, right?
Yeah, true. I also think, I quite like the, D and E, Liverpool and Ajax or Sevilla and Chelsea. I actually wouldn't mind those. They sound quite exciting. The one I don't really like the look of so much is Real Madrid and Shakhtar. I think that sounds quite tricky. But it's not been too bad. This, the pairings haven't been as dangerous as they might have been. The most dangerous one is Juve and Barca, and that's a group we can't be in, so it's worked out quite well.
What a shame. Sorry.
Although we always beat Juve, so that would have been quite a good group.
Yeah. Well, last year was amazing. We beat Juventus even in the final. So hey guys, you're not commentating anymore. Nothing to.
Everyone's so focused on the draw.
Ter Stegen is injured, so Neto is playing. Wow. Now we're gonna wait other 20 minutes for the group for the third pot.
Well, this is it, guys. This is our group. Our pot,
Yeah.
I mean. So, who else have we got in pot 3? We've got Dinamo Kiev, Salzburg, Leipzig, Inter, Olympiacos, Lazio, Krasnodar, and Atalanta. So 3 Italian teams in this pot. Interesting.
Hey, Patrick, welcome on board.
Hey, Patrick. Not that Patrick.
Talking about Patrick, do you think he played badly yesterday against Atalanta?
Well, I mean, he basically gave them one of their goals with a terrible header. I mean, I think the whole defence played pretty badly yesterday, to be honest. I mean, it's not one player over the other. I mean, Acerbi did quite well, to be honest. Actually, he dealt with Zapata quite well. Not for the first time. Acerbi, he's good in those one-on-ones. When he gets on those physical confrontations where he has to mark a striker, he tends to do quite well, actually. So I was fairly happy with Acerbi, but then, yeah, just structurally. I mean, I think it was a bit of a shame with Marisic having had such a good game against Cagliari that he then goes and basically becomes responsible for the first 2 goals. It does, though, I suppose, highlight again why we were looking for a left wing back in the first place.
By the way, it's Ronaldo Messian.
Okay, I think Vittorio's frozen. I don't know if people can still hear me or not, but I definitely can't hear Vittorio. Or is this me? Bear with us 1 second while I ask him what's going on. Just as well, it happens in the gap between the second and third pots. Typical for this to happen, though, let's be honest, just before Lazio are drawn. If anyone's listening can hear this and can hear me talk, but not Vittorio, then tell me. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself. Has anyone else got Vittorio frozen right now? It does say I'm on air, but I don't know whether to believe it or not. When is the draw? The draw is currently taking place. We're halfway through. And Lazio are up next. Patrick Bowman, yes, he's frozen. Yes, he is frozen. Oh, thank God, I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, right. Well, I have sent him a message, so I'm glad everyone can still hear me. But I don't know what's happened to Vittorio. I'm going to tell him to come back. Right, okay, well, at least people can still hear me. That's something. Joy Chanley, we hear you. Okay, good. What a relief. I do enough talking to myself in my day-to-day life that I don't need to be doing it live on camera as well. What else have we got? Thomas Scarlett, I think that header from Patrick was made worse by SMS giving up on the play and not following his marker into the box. Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's probably not the first time Milinkovic-Savic can be accused of doing something along those lines. But the header's terrible. I mean, look, it's anyone knows this. I play in defence at any level of football, and you're told, clear to the sides, clear away from goal. Whether that's with a header or with your feet, just get it out of danger. And it's not that Patrick's trying to be clever and technically head it to a player, to a teammate. He's just done it straight into Gomez's path. So, but look, I mean, he wasn't the only one last night. It was a lot of annoying individual mistakes, and that was what made the result what it ultimately was. So, here we go. Vittorio is now messaging me. He says he's here. Well, we don't believe you, Vittorio. No, can't hear or see you. He's probably just so nervous about which group Lazio are going to get here that he's decided to abandon the show altogether. Right, I'm trying to get back through some of these comments, but I can't actually see them all because I'm not the person who's broadcasting the show. So this is going badly. Well, he says, don't know, I am here. Right. Joy Channy, Patrick is not a Champions League defender, and I'm amazed Terry did not think of replacing him. Well, I think wasn't so much up to Tare as Inzaghi. Inzaghi's basically transformed Patrick from a fairly hopeless case as a wing back into actually a very capable ball-playing centre-back. I agree. I don't know if he's of that level to play in the Champions League, but he is of a good enough level to play in Serie A and be fairly dependable. He's earned that trust. So that's why he's still in the squad, above the likes of Bastos, who's also improved under Inzaghi, but who hasn't quite got to the level yet where he's going to be, doing everything he can to keep him in the squad. And I don't think they probably wanted to revolutionise the entire defence. They're getting rid of Bastos, they're getting rid of Wallace, getting rid of Dermisi, potentially Lukaku. I don't think they want to necessarily kick everybody out and start again from scratch, given how difficult it is to actually sign players this summer. Right, okay. It looks like we're back underway again here. So, Vittorio, now would be a good time to return. Okay. Right, what have we got? They are stirring the balls in the pots, which is always a good sign.